Record. Good afternoon, Rusty. How you doing?
I'm doing real good, thank you.
Good. So you are running for congregational House representative, right?
Yes, 7th Congressional District out of Indianapolis.
Okay, 7. So, who is the current rep?
Andre Carson.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, I think now I remember. And how long he has been there?
I believe this is his 14th year.
14th year. Wow. So that
Yes.
he was re-elected 7 times.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, actually 6 times. Oh, wow. And I think it's mostly because his mom, right?
Grandmother, yes.
Oh, grandmother. Okay.
He's running on the Carson name. You won't hear him say Andre Carson. You'll hear him say Carson.
Okay.
But it's not normally Andre, but sometimes you hear him say Andre. So
okay. And her grandmother was pretty famous.
She was well known. I wouldn't say famous.
Okay.
Famous, you think of entertainers and stuff, not as politicians. And he's running on his celebrity status right now, and which is wrong for a representative. You're supposed to, the people are supposed to be the main focus. You're supposed to be the representative, not the representee, you know. So they're supposed to focus on the people instead of themselves.
Right. Well, unfortunately, that's kind of like the rule, right? There's children of politicians, they are running based on their name recognition and probably because of connection, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so now during the primary, do you have anyone you're running against?
Yes, I have 4 people that are running. 3 of them do not live in our district.
Oh, really?
One of them is a Russian lady named Angela Grabovsky. And she's basically running on her immigration from Russia to the United States.
Okay.
And then we have the CEO of the Children's Museum. Her name is Jennifer Pace.
Okay.
She's a Democrat running as a Republican.
Oh,
and I do not get me wrong. I'm not making fun of these people. I'm not trying to be mean to them or anything. I'm just telling you the way things are. Angela and her husband are good friends of mine. I really like them.
Okay.
So,
but can you run as a Republican even though you are a Democrat?
Well, we're not sure if she's voted as a Republican ever in her life, but on her web pages and her husband's web pages, it shows their strong dislike for Republicans. Her ex-husband hated Trump and hates Republicans. I'm not sure how a house divided like that could survive. But anyhow, that's none of my business, but that's theirs. And I'm not talking bad about any of the Republican challengers, okay? Do not get me wrong. Then we have Gerald Walters, who lives on the south side. He's no longer in our district either. He lives off of Epler Avenue. And then we have Bill Allen. He lives in Canby, pardon me. And he has a physical therapy business down there. But he doesn't live in our district anymore either. So.
Okay. But can they run for?
Yes, you do not have to live in the district to run for Congress. But the people, we literally had thousands of people told us this past summer, that they could not vote for me if I did not live in the district. Well, I live in the district, but the others do not. So yeah.
Oh, but okay. And so now, do you know who the GOP establishment kind of put their weight behind?
None of us. The county GOP chairman and the state GOP chairman told us the last week of January that their investors were not interested in the 7th congressional race. Therefore, they would not be supporting any candidate from the 7th congressional race. And that has been going on for 20 years now. Oh, wow. They have not supported one congressional Republican in the 7th.
So they just kind of gave up on.
Yes, what they've been saying until this year is that it's unwinnable. But in 2020, in the 7th congressional race, 61% of the registered voters were Republicans in the 7th district.
Oh, wow.
They just did not capitalize on that. And they didn't get their grassroots people out to do it. By saying unwinnable, that gave them the excuse to do nothing.
Right.
And that's what they did. They cowered behind their desk and did nothing.
Wow.
And so when we started our campaign 10 months ago, we said, we are not waiting on this county GOP chairman or the county GOP at all, or the state GOP. We are taking our message to the people.
Right.
The people are the ones who have suffered enough under both parties for the past 20 years.
Right.
And we are saying enough is enough.
Right.
The people that we have talked to, Democrats, Republicans, everybody, libertarians, everybody, they're saying enough is enough. We're saying, divide us no more. Quit dividing us because the color of our skin, our religion, our sexuality, our disabilities, or even our political parties, or anything else. Quit dividing us. We've had enough.
Right.
You know, we're better than that here in Indiana, and we deserve better than that.
Right.
So,
what kind of things you are running on? Like, if you are elected, and what are you going to do?
Okay. Well, one of the first things I'd like to do is get the VA cleaned up a little bit. I had 12 veterans come to me last April and said they've been waiting on Andre Carson for 4 to 6 years for their VA disability or Social Security, and some of them both. And come to find out, he never even turned it in.
Oh, wow.
And one guy lost his house, his family, and even tried to commit suicide. And I said, that's one too many.
Wow.
That representative failed him. And so I got all of those guys taken care of within a short time. And one of the other things veterans face and our disabled people face when they fight Social Security and the VA is that the attorneys can claim up to $6,000 from the VA or Social Security. And then the attorneys go after the individual, the veteran or the disabled person, for an extra 10 to 25% of their back pay.
Oh.
And we're wanting to put a stop to that. We're wanting to say, let's cap that off at that 6,000 level and let these people keep their pay.
Right.
Let them keep their money. They deserved it. They've had to wait a long time.
Wow, that's
now, I have 7 Vietnam veterans who have been fighting the VA for 53 years. We need to clean this mess up.
Right, definitely. And is that just because they lived in the district? That's how?
No, that's throughout the nation. I've helped these people all throughout the nation, these wonderful people. I've helped over 800 veterans in the past 10 years get their disability from the VA and Social Security.
Right.
It took me 19 years to get my disability. I got bit in the spine by a coral snake in the Army in Louisiana. And I had my 29th back surgery 5 years ago. And I thought 19 years was bad, but I'm telling you, we've got people waited longer, lots longer than that, 53 years. Right. I had 2 Vietnam veterans that I lost last year. They had fought for 52 years and their families, they died and their families got nothing. We deserve better than that, you know, and our Social Security is just as bad, you know, and our senior citizens and our disabled people trying to get Social Security, it's horrendous what they have to jump through. And we need to change that.
Oh, wow. So first of all, this is personal to you.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Like I said, I'm a disabled veteran. It took me 19 years and we suffered a lot. Say I have an electronic implant in my back to help with the pain from the snake bite to my spine. And say it goes bad. It takes the VA 6 weeks to 2 months to get me in to do surgery. And during that time, I have to be on narcotics. And then they do surgery. Then I'm off work for 90 days. Over that 19 years, I've lost several jobs because they couldn't do without me for 5 months, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's hard on families and stuff. Yeah. I've lost one home because of it, you know? And we're saying that's too much,
yeah,
you know?
That's wrong. No,
yes.
In so many levels. And the thing is, like, we don't hear that as a public,
right?
And I don't think any media outlet is trying to advocate for veterans.
That's correct. I got Fox 59 involved with my case 10 years ago, and I got my disability within 90 days because Fox 59 got involved.
Nice. That's good.
And the problem that we had was They sent me to a civilian doctor to be evaluated for the snake bite to my spine, arthritis in my back, spine, and hips, kidney stones, PTSD, and panic attacks. The only problem is they sent me to an eye doctor to be evaluated for all that.
Huh.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
You know, so it's crazy how the VA works. So we need to straighten that up.
Right.
You know, Donald Trump had the right ideas when he got in there about helping the veterans. They had a VA office at the White House where it could only take you 30 days to get your disability. I had over 200 veterans get their disability within 1 year.
Oh, wow.
Through Donald Trump's White House. And that was wonderful. You know, we had somebody in there, but now Joe Biden doesn't even care, you know?
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. So it matters who your leader is and what they know and how they can help you to get this stuff cleaned up. We've been cleaning up Andre Carson's mess for 10 months, you know, and some of these other candidates, they didn't announce that they were running until February 1st and 2nd, you know, so they waited till the last minute to announce. But we've been out there with the people the whole time, talking with the people. And right now we have over 2,900 African-American Democrats voting for us.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, because our message is we're about people helping people, period. Exactly. None of that other stuff matters. It's just noise to us.
Right.
Our people have suffered enough under both parties.
Yes.
And we're saying enough is enough. Listen to us, because we're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Republican Party has abandoned the people in the 7th district for 20 years, and we're saying no more. Now, the other way you can look at that is when I win and I get into Washington, I don't know anybody anything except for the people in the 7th district. And that's wonderful, because that's who I'm going to be taking care of.
Exactly. And so definitely you want to take care of the VS, and they definitely deserve that. Then and many politicians, they say it but not really doing it. And so far I think Donald Trump is the only one who actually did something for the VS. For the veterans. And okay, so this is one thing. Then how about the other things? Any concerns now in your district that you want to help?
Well, one thing I'd like to do statewide is I'd like to legalize marijuana, one, because everybody's doing it anyway. I don't smoke dope. I don't do drugs. I do take CBD oil for my PTSD. And last year I was having between 30 to 50 panic attacks because of my PTSD. And now I'm having 1 to 5 a night, and that's it. So it does work. You know, and I went through a class with the chaplain at the VA hospital, and her class helped me. And after that, I was only having 3 to 5, and with the CBD oil, it's helped. But we have to pay for that out of our own pocket, because the VA will not pay for it.
Really? Wow.
That was the other thing. What I want to do is legalize it and tax it. And I want to use that money to do away with property taxes, because people are losing their houses because they can't pay $500 or $1,000 because they're behind and because of the economy and everything. They can't do it, and they're losing their homes for no reason. Let's do away with that. And when we do, we like to talk about less government in the Republican Party, right? Okay, so let's get rid of a bunch of positions with the clerk's office who handles the property taxes, as well as sending out the notices for being delinquent. And then they send out the notices that saying that they're going to have a sheriff's cell. And then let's get our deputies back out on the road instead of them out serving these notices to the homeowners, and then the eviction notices as well. They will be down. There won't be any more because there's no more property taxes. Let's get these officers back out in the street. Then when we go to Washington, let's place another tax on it as well, say $1 more. Take 50 cents of that dollar, every dollar, and add it towards Social Security to shore up Social Security, so all of our people will keep their Social Security and we don't lose it. The other 50 cents, we could do whatever we need to with it, pay off our national debt. And that's another thing I want to work on. I want to stop paying all these countries all this money, except for Israel, until we pay off our national debt. Okay. And then let's take a look at all these companies and organizations that we're giving money to, like Planned Parenthood. We give them $500 million a year, $300 million a year. They give back out to the Democratic Party, Democratic candidates running in their districts and everything throughout the country. And then they give money out to other organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's say $400 million they give out. So they're basically saying, all we need is $100 million. Okay, well, let's give them $100 million, but let's wait 5 years to give them that until we pay off our national debt.
Right.
Okay, because you said you needed it and then you really didn't.
Right.
It's not being punished. It's saying that we have other responsibilities to take care of. Now, if the Democratic Party wants you to have money for doing all these abortions, then have the Democratic Party fund your abortions.
Right.
But right now, the United States needs to pay off our national debt. $30 trillion is too much. $1 trillion is too much. Let's pay off our debt and get it over with, and then we can help out who needs help.
Right, exactly. I mean,
but we have to have a balanced budget.
Yeah, but this actually happened really on both parties.
Yes, correct.
I mean, every party went up there and they increased the national debt.
Right. Since President George W. Bush, yes, because remember, Obama said that it was un-American that he had a $4 trillion debt.
Right.
And then Obama brought in $8 trillion on top of that.
Right.
So then it was 12, and then so forth. So yeah, it's crazy how it's just ballooned and nobody's paying it.
Yeah.
But with the infrastructure bill that was passed last fall, they gave China $1 billion. It didn't go to pay off our debt. It did not go to pay off our interest rate. They gave China $1 billion for nothing.
Really?
We need to stop that.
How?
Enough of that, Democrats. We don't have it. They don't deserve it.
Right.
If you're paying off our debt, that's fine. If you're paying on our interest rate, that's fine. But don't give money away until we pay off our national debt.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big thing. And
yes.
Is there anything else at the local level, in the district level, that you want to take care of?
Well, I definitely want to help take care of this crime that's going on here in the district. I believe that the Republicans have a really good candidate, Cindy. I think she's going to do a great job, and I will be willing to stand beside her anytime, any place, and back her up, because our current prosecutor, he's letting people out. Say you have 4 different charges against you. He's only going to charge you for the lesser crime.
Oh, wow.
And that's wrong.
Yeah.
You commit 4 crimes, you should be held accountable for all 4 crimes. Yeah. And Cindy will make sure that happens. Wonderful. And she is really a good person. So I think she's going to do a great job. She has a lot of experience and she cares about this community. So same as I.
So Cindy is running for
prosecutor, Marion County prosecutor. Yes. The Johnson County prosecutor and the sheriff down there are both good friends of mine. I'm originally from Johnson County. I've worked with Dwayne Burgess for about 25 years. He's a great guy.
Wonderful. And
the prosecutor, he's really a good guy as well.
Yeah. And now, so in your district, what's the population demography in there?
Well, I'm not really sure since they switched it, but in 2020, 61% of the registered voters were Republican. We had 670,000 registered voters in 2020. 59% voted for president, but less than that voted for congressman. Andre Carson had 176,000 votes, and Susan Smith had 106,000 votes. That's 282,000 votes out of 670,000. That's embarrassing.
Okay.
You know, Andre Carson has never had 200,000 votes in an election yet.
Oh, wow.
I'm not striving for 300,000. I'm striving for 670,000, you know, there's no limit, because there's so many people who have been abused by both parties. Yeah. And we're saying enough is enough. Now there's a person in this race that is saying no more. We've got politicians who say I. You know, it's like they have their own mariachi band.
Right.
And then you have Andre Carson, who's running on his celebrity status,
Right.
who only knows me. You got I's, me's,
Yeah.
but you don't have anyone for us.
No, definitely. Wow.
And we are for the people, by the people, and with the people. I understand their struggles. I live on VA disability and Social Security. That's all the income I have. And that's what we do, you know, and we help each other. And that's what we're about. People helping people, period.
Right, right. Wonderful. And how about the schools in your district?
Our schools have been suffering for a long time. I don't think Andre has really done much with education. You know, it was really bad enough when the state took over our education system, you know, and then it went nationally. And we see this catastrophe of the CRT that's going around, that's teaching hate, divisiveness, and anger towards people because of the color of their skin and all this other stuff, nationalities or whatever. They're teaching our fourth graders anal and oral sex and all this other stuff. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. We have to do better than what's going on in politics today. We are better than that, and we deserve better than that. Why are we still talking about CRT after all these months? Where are our leaders in the House and in the state Senate saying no more? We will not allow this hatred anymore. We will not allow this divisiveness anymore. Why are we still talking about it? If you're a leader, be a leader and put an end to it.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would love to do is do away with the Department of Education, the National Department of Education, and put it back down at local level where it should be.
Exactly. I mean, education is really a local issue.
Correct.
We should give back to the people. I mean, we're still, right, as a country, we're still for the people, by the people, right? And let me see, for the people, by the people, and of the people. And yeah, we need to bring that back. And right now, the Department of Education has a lot of power over the curriculums and over things you can teach at the local level, and that is just wrong. I think we also need to get rid of the state Department of Education.
Yes, I agree with you as well on that. And some of these teachers unions, you know, they're really horrible. You know, it's more about the adults, you know, the teachers, than it is about the students. And what they're teaching our students, you know, is just horrific. Let's get back to some of this better education where we're not teaching hate and anger. And you remember what just 2 years ago, we had teachers teaching their students how to kill the president of the United States. Why do they still have their teaching certificates? Why? That's hatred. That's anger. There's no sense in that. You're supposed to be teaching our kids education, not hatred.
Yeah, I know the Indianapolis Public School couple of years ago, I look at their ISTEP, and that's actually the average is about 10%. So that means 90% of the kids really don't have the adequate education, but they don't let them graduate, and then that creates such a huge social problem, because even though they graduated, but they don't have the skill.
Correct. Yeah, and where are they going to go when they graduate? You know, oh sure, you got a high school diploma, but what's that mean now? You know, when 90% of you fell. You know, and let's look about the people who go to college. Well, you know, colleges, they're teaching about hate too. You know, a lot of these colleges, they hate Republicans. They hate this person. They hate that person. They hate them because the color of their skin, their nationality, or whatever. But it's wrong. Stop it. Enough is enough. Let's get back to our education. You went to college to learn to teach our children about our history. Teach them English. Teach them Spanish. Teach them science. Teach them math. Teach them everything. but you're not. You're teaching them that's hatred and divisiveness.
Yeah.
Stop it. We're
Right.
better than that.
Right.
Let's teach our kids what they need to so they can succeed and do great things in this world, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And also like when those people go to college, a lot of them can not even take college courses. They have to take so-called remedial classes. It's basically
Correct.
you have to retake high school math and English, but pay at the college level. So they get into the debt, and then they forever being kind of really had to pay those debts, and that is also very wrong.
Great. Yeah, exactly. Now, when I joined the Army, I took an ASVAB test, you know, to check where I was, my education level and everything. And it was mediocre. A year and a half later, I took it and I had doubled it.
Mm.
So my experience in the military helped me with my math, helped
Right.
me with my English, helped me with my history and everything.
Yeah.
And it really was a big benefit, you know, but not everybody wants to go in the military, but that's okay.
Right.
But what we need to do is we need to hold our teachers accountable, you know, make our teachers more accountable for the education that our children are getting,
Yeah.
you know. But first, you've got to stop this hate and anger first. Right. Enough of that. Let's get back to the basics. Right. And that's what we have to do.
Yeah. I would say to hold the administrators accountable. Yes. Because there are many good teachers, but nowadays they just cannot teach because everything is thrown at them. I mean, yes. You cannot discipline student, and so you have problems, you cannot teach. And also, when you have like 30, 40 kids in the class, and there is no way you can teach. Right, exactly. Yeah. And we also make sure that there is a financial transparency at the school. I know IPS, they have actually more non-teaching staffs than teachers. Right. Money actually went to the wrong people instead of teachers. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's very sad, you know, the superintendents, the school board, and all these stuff, or all these people, they it's just out of control. Right. You know, we need to rein it back in, but we need to do that at a local level. Right. We need to tell the federal government, knock it off, right. Get out. You know, we need to tell the state government, knock it off. Right. You know, and let's do our taxes locally to help pay for our students and for the education that they deserve, and hold them accountable. You know, and take it back out of the state and federal government's hands, where it's gotten so bad. Right. that the federal government is teaching how to hate. Right, right. You know, there's a reason why the rear view mirror is smaller than your windshield. You know, you have to look behind to remember the past, but you have to plan today for a better tomorrow. Right. And so we've got to be better than what's going on. Right. And what happened 150, 200, 300, 400 years ago with slavery is just astounding. It's horrendous. But guess what? Slavery's been going on for thousands of years. Right. Muslims have been having slaves for thousands and thousands of years. You know, Rome, all these people have had slaves. Is it right? No, it's not. No. But let's get through it together, okay? Sure, whites had black slaves. Blacks had black slaves. Right. Even our vice president, her great-great-grandfather had slaves, you know? And we've got to say, okay, we've got through that part of our history. We are sorry. We weren't there. I've never owned a slave in my life. I've never owned a person in my life, nor do I want to. I was responsible for my son, and I was responsible for the actions of my wife and stuff, and taking care of my family. But do I own them? I do not, nor do I want to. Right. Because I think that you should have free will, you know, you should be able to make your own choices, but you have to live and die by your choices. Okay. Right. And we did that in the military. You have to live and die by your choices. If you choose to do this when you were ordered not to, and you got killed, that was your fault because you didn't do the right thing. Right. You know, and that's why you take orders. Okay. So,
we've got to fix our thinking. Instead of thinking about, oh yeah, 200 years ago this happened to my family. Wow, what are you going to do to make that never happen again?
Right.
Nothing, because all you're thinking about is those bastards treated my family terrible 150, 200 years ago. Well, guess what? Those people weren't even alive back then. Give them a chance.
Yeah.
They never did anything to you. I've never did anything to you. And I've had Democrats call me a racist. And I said, and that's coming from the party who voted no to abolishing slavery. That's coming from the party that voted no to allow the black man to vote.
Yep.
And the Democratic Party started the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
And you're calling me a racist? I like everybody but stupid people.
Right.
Which one are you? And they walk away. I never have any more problems out of them.
What to me, like, I think the African Americans, they need to get out from the Democratic Party control.
Yes.
They should vote as an independent bloc instead of being taken for granted by the Democratic Party.
I agree with you 100%. And if you look at Andre Carson, all he does is scream racist, racist, racist. If you disagree with him, you're racist.
Yeah.
If you sneeze wrong, you're racist. And that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's hatred. He's running around here screaming, defund the police last a year ago, January.
Right.
But he got his dad on at the sheriff's department at the same time. That, you know, good. His dad has a job. That's great. But guess what? You're sending mixed messages here. You know, who do you want to defund? Who do you want fired? What's going on here, Andre? You're speaking with a forked tongue, just like the Democratic Party has been for years. In 1967, the Democratic Party realized that they could no longer win elections without the African-American votes. So what they did, they flipped it on the Republicans and they said, we're the real party of Lincoln. We switched, we're the real party of Lincoln. And it's the Republicans that started the Ku Klux Klan. It's the Republicans who voted no. It's the Republicans voted for this. But no, that's not what history is. No. And now they're trying to do away with it. They're tearing down their own statues of their own Civil War heroes and stuff. Were they my heroes? No, they were not. No. Because I have never been for slavery. I've never been about this hatred that's been going on. I grew up in a racist household. My dad was very prejudiced and I hated it. The day I graduated, the next day I moved out. So I was so glad when I joined the military. I loved it. I got to work with all the people, all the races. I got to work with all the religions and stuff. I was a chaplain assistant in the military and I loved it, and when I got bit in the spine by a coral snake, I was studying to become a chaplain. And the snake knocked me out for 14 hours in the swamp in Louisiana. I didn't drown. The alligator didn't eat me and the snake didn't kill me. So God had other plans for me.
Yeah.
I spent 9 months in the hospital. I had to learn to walk again. And then they came out with an electronic implant to help me with pain relief. I was the first guy in the Army with that. And they kept me for 3 years as a guinea pig. And then Clinton got in and started kicking everybody out. And they kicked me out on a 10% disability. They said, since nobody's survived a coral snake bite to the spine before, they didn't know how to rate it. And because I was the first guy in the Army with the implant, they didn't know how to rate it. So all I got was 10%. And then I had to go fight with the VA for the next 19 years. So I've written a movie script called Surviving the Snakes. Surviving the snake, and then the VA, and the Army, and then the VA, and the US government, And it's something, that God will help us through, and God has seen these people through something as horrible as slavery. But guess what? For 150 years, they have not been slaves. Unless they have kept themselves down. Bring yourself up. Don't allow any person or people to keep you down. Bring yourself up. Keep yourself up and keep your family up and your friends. Bring everybody up. Stop this hatred and divisiveness.
Well, the thing is, to me, I think the African Americans need to wake up, because for the Democrat Party, for their self-interest, they will put them in the poverty so they can still keep having the support. Because once they become into middle class, they might switch to the Republicans.
Yes.
So that's where we see in almost all the cities that are run by Democrats, African Americans is never get out of poverty.
Right. They're beaten down. They keep them down and down and down. And they're not, they may think that they're giving them a helping hand by giving them this free stuff, but it's not.
No.
You know, the old saying, teach a man to fish and he'll learn how to survive.
Right.
But they're not doing that.
No.
They're not doing that. They're keeping them down on welfare. And that's not African Americans. That's everybody, you know. They're keeping them down and we need to build them up.
Right.
Build them up.
Yeah.
Sure, you got a job here, but guess what? I think you should be here,
right.
you know, or even here.
Yep.
Let's build you up. Right. You know, you've got to get better. We've got to be better than what's going on in politics today. Right. We've got to be better than what's going on in society today. Say enough is enough. Stand with us and let's take back our country. Let's take back our government and say, divide us no more. Right. We're done with it. Yep. We're better than that. We work better together, no matter the color of your skin, your religion, your sexuality, your disabilities, or even your political party or anything else. All that's just noise. Right. Let's focus on being the better us, the better you, the better me. Yep. You know, and that's how we're going to do it. We have to build ourselves back up.
Right. That's wonderful. And let's get back to property tax. I mean, personally, I think that's wrong because we bought our house after we've been taxed by the government, and then now we had to pay on the house that we bought, which has already been taxed. So to me, that's kind of double tax. And also it's make things difficult for veterans and also for elderly people, because now they don't have that kind of income. They have a house and, and the property, then the price or the value of the house increased. Right. And then you have to pay on top of that.
Exactly. That's one reason why I said, let's legalize marijuana and use that tax money and tax it and use that tax money to do away with property taxes. Right. I pay almost $300 a month in property taxes on my house. Wow. As a disabled veteran who only brings in VA disability and Social Security, that's $3,600 a year. Oh, that's and just think what we could do with that money, you know? And guess what? When we use it to go out and buy stuff in our community, we help local businesses. We go out and invest it. We help local businesses. We do this, we do that, and we help local businesses. And, you know, churches are saying, yeah, but you're legalizing marijuana. But guess what? They're already doing it, okay? They're already doing it. And a lot of the states surrounding us have already done it, okay? Let's legalize it, still make it a crime, okay, to drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs or anything else, but you know, you can still do it, but let's legalize it. One, especially for the medical purposes, because I have a lot of friends that are veterans and senior citizens and disabled because of cancer, because of epilepsy, because of different things that happen to them in the military, even burns, PTSD and things like that. You know, you don't have to be in the military to have PTSD, okay? People go out and get robbed or shot at or something, you know, they get abused by people, they get PTSD, but the government doesn't pay for that. No. Well, Medicare doesn't pay for that. Social Security doesn't pay for that. VA doesn't pay for that. We have to pay for that out of our own pocket. So let's do it for that. And I suggest this as a negotiating tool. We tell the state legislature that one, the very first year, we do not tax senior citizens. We do not tax disabled people or parents of disabled people, we do not tax veterans. Okay, that's just because we have a $5 billion surplus. Okay, the second year nobody has to pay property taxes.
Mm.
Now, again, like I said, this is a negotiating tool, just like Donald Trump says, the art of the war, or the art of the deal, pardon me.
Art of the deal, yeah.
The art of the deal, and not because I'm a big Donald Trump fan or anything else. It's just because it's common knowledge.
Right.
You have to have a negotiating, you have to have something to negotiate with in dealing with our politicians, or you're not going to win at all. Okay. You've got to be able to negotiate. And especially with what we have in leadership today, or the lack thereof, that we're still dealing with all this CRT and not passing these bills that need to be passed to help our people, and we're not having our party behind us, our state party. We're not having our county party behind us and things like that. Like I told you before, the state and county GOP chairmen both told us that they will not support any candidate in the 7th. Wow. And because of their investors. Well, guess what? Voters are investing in them as well. Right. They beg us every month for more money. They beg us every year for more money. But guess what? When we need them the most to put better candidates in office, they run away from us and hide in their office and say, unwinnable, unwinnable. Yeah. And now they're saying, no, our investors say no. But guess what? You need to get better investors. Right. Because we aren't going anywhere. The 7th district is rising up, and we're saying no more to both parties. Right. No more Andre Carson, no more of the Republican Party doing away with us. Right. As far as I'm concerned, if you're not going to stand and support us, why are you in office now? Mm-hmm. Why? Yeah. And the other thing is, number 2, is who in the hell gave them the rights to dishonor every man, woman, who ever raised their hand and took an oath to protect and defend this country and our rights, especially our right to vote. Right. And who in the hell gave them the right to trample on every grave of every man, woman, and child who fought for and died for this country and this thing called freedom and our rights, especially our right to vote? Who gave them the right? Right. Sure in the hell wasn't this veteran. Right. We are about people helping people, and shouldn't you be too? Right. Shouldn't our leadership be too? Yeah. I'm sorry.
How can people support you?
They can go to our webpage, rustyforcongress.com. Okay. And there's a donation tab on there they can go to. We've been passing out over 12,000 of our flyers. Mm-hmm. And on the back there, it shows you different ways you can scan in the QR codes and do that. You can send a check to Rusty for the 7th at P.O. Box 39314, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46239.
Well, could you send me that in Messenger so I can put that onto when I publish this interview?
You bet. I'll do it here in just a few minutes.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really wish you all the best. I think people deserve better. I mean, people in the 7th really deserve better.
I think people throughout this whole country deserve better than what we've got going on right now in politics and in society. Right, right. And we've got to say enough is enough. Stop hating people because the color of their skin. Black Lives Matter. They only care about the blacks. Right. But guess what? There's more people than the blacks. Right. We have people from all over the world here, and we've got to be better. God only put us here on this earth for a short time, and his task for us is to leave this better than how we found it. Amen. And we can't do that if we have hatred and anger in our hearts and minds against our brothers and sisters because of anything, the color of our skin, our religion, sexuality, disabilities, political parties, or you live on the other side of town or the other side of the tracks. Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Right. We've got to be better than what's going on. So, yeah. But thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to interview you. Well, God bless.
Okay, God bless you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay,
all right.
Bye.
Bye.